What if an entire civilization carved out a vast, intricate world, completely in secret, and then vanished, leaving behind no record, no explanation, just the silent, echoing stone? For thousands of years, the people of China walked the fertile lands of Zhejiang province, unknowingly above a hidden labyrinth. Then, in 1992, a local villager, hoping to drain a series of unusually deep ponds, stumbled upon something that would rewrite history, or at least, deeply question it. The Longyou Caves, a complex of at least 36 colossal man-made caverns, carved into the solid siltstone bedrock, each cave, averaging 30 meters high, spanning an area that could house several football fields, walls and ceilings covered in meticulously chiseled parallel lines, a consistent, yet baffling decorative motif. But here's the mystery: no tools were ever found. No records exist. No written accounts mention this massive undertaking. It's as if an entire subterranean city was born from a collective amnesia. Who built the Longyou Caves? When? And, perhaps most importantly, why? The scale alone is breathtaking. Imagine standing at the bottom of one of these immense chambers, the air cool and damp around you, the only light filtering down from the artificial openings above. You're surrounded by walls that have been painstakingly carved, millimeter by millimeter, from solid rock. The precision is astounding. The consistent angle of the chisel marks, the parallel lines that adorn almost every surface. It speaks to a level of coordination and planning that's almost incomprehensible, given the technology we assume was available at the time. Think about the logistics. Removing hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions, of cubic meters of rock, disposing of it without leaving significant traces on the surface, illuminating the underground worksite day after day, year after year, maintaining the structural integrity of these massive underground spaces, preventing collapses and ensuring stability. It's an engineering feat that rivals, and in some ways surpasses, the construction of the pyramids. And yet, the pyramids stand proudly in the desert sun, monuments to their pharaohs. The Longyou Caves remained hidden, a secret whispered only by the earth itself. The caves are clustered relatively close together, spread across a little over a square kilometer. This suggests a unified purpose, a central plan that dictated their placement and construction. But what was that purpose? Were they mines, quarries, royal tombs, temples, or something else entirely? The lack of any definitive evidence fuels endless speculation. Let's consider the possibility that they were mines, perhaps for extracting a particular type of stone or mineral. The problem with this theory is the lack of evidence of any significant resource extraction. No remnants of ore, no piles of discarded material, no specialized tools associated with mining. Furthermore, the sheer scale and decorative elements seem disproportionate to a purely utilitarian mining operation. Why go to such lengths to beautify a workspace buried deep underground? Could they have been quarries, supplying stone for some unknown, grand construction project? Again, the problem is the absence of any discernible quarry marks, any unfinished blocks of stone, any clear indication that the rock was being extracted for building purposes. And where is the magnificent structure that required so much stone? Why is it not dominating the landscape, a testament to the ambition and power of the civilization that built it? Perhaps the Longyou Caves served as royal tombs, hidden beneath the earth to protect the remains of emperors or high-ranking officials. This theory aligns with the immense scale and the secretive nature of the complex. But where are the sarcophagi, the burial artifacts, the inscriptions that typically accompany royal tombs? The caves are remarkably empty, devoid of any human remains or grave goods. Another possibility is that the caves were temples, dedicated to some unknown deity or spiritual practice. The large, open chambers could have served as gathering spaces for religious ceremonies. The parallel lines, perhaps, held symbolic significance, representing the connection between the earth and the heavens. However, the lack of any religious iconography, any altars or sacred objects, makes this theory difficult to support. Some researchers have suggested that the caves were used for military purposes, as hidden bunkers or storage facilities. In times of war or political unrest, the caves could have provided refuge for soldiers or civilians, or served as a secure location for storing weapons and supplies. But again, there's no direct evidence to support this claim. No signs of military installations, no remnants of weapons or armor, no defensive structures. The historical context provides few clues. The Longyou region has a rich and complex history, dating back thousands of years. It was a strategically important area, a crossroads of trade and culture. It was ruled by various dynasties, each leaving its own mark on the landscape. Yet, none of these dynasties claim ownership of the Longyou Caves. None of them mention their existence in any historical records. It's as if they were deliberately erased from history. Their creators vanished without a trace. Some have argued that the caves could predate even the earliest known dynasties, pushing their construction back to a period before written records existed. This would explain the lack of any historical documentation, but it also raises even more questions about the technology and social organization required to undertake such a massive project. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Longyou Caves is the presence of the chisel marks. These parallel lines, consistently spaced and angled, cover almost every surface inside the caves. They're not random scratches or geological formations. They're clearly the result of deliberate human craftsmanship. But what was their purpose? Were they purely decorative, adding an aesthetic touch to the otherwise bare rock walls? Or did they serve some more functional purpose, perhaps helping to distribute light or absorb sound? Some researchers believe that the chisel marks could have been used as a form of measurement, allowing the builders to maintain consistent angles and dimensions throughout the complex. Others have suggested that they could have had a spiritual significance, representing the energy lines of the earth or the flow of qi. The consistent style of the chisel marks across all the caves suggests that they were created by a single, unified team of builders, working according to a common plan. This implies a high degree of social organization and coordination, a level of sophistication that is not typically associated with prehistoric societies. Another puzzling feature of the Longyou Caves is the presence of the artificial ponds above the caves. These ponds, which initially led to the discovery of the caves, appear to be interconnected, forming a network of waterways that may have been used to drain water away from the construction site. However, the ponds also seem to be strategically placed, aligned with the entrances of the caves. This has led some to speculate that they could have had a more symbolic purpose, perhaps representing the connection between the underground world and the world above. The water table in the Longyou region is relatively high, making the construction of the caves even more challenging. The builders would have had to constantly pump water out of the caves to prevent them from flooding. This would have required a sophisticated system of drainage, perhaps involving the use of pumps or siphons. The debate surrounding the Longyou Caves is fueled by the lack of definitive evidence and the abundance of unanswered questions. Some researchers are convinced that the caves were built by an ancient civilization, lost to history. Others believe that they were created by a later dynasty, perhaps as a secret project that was deliberately concealed from public knowledge. Still others suggest that they are simply a natural geological formation, misinterpreted as a man-made structure. Those who argue for a natural origin point to the presence of similar geological formations in other parts of the world. They suggest that the caves could have been formed by the erosion of underground streams or the collapse of underground caverns. However, the uniform shape and precise angles of the caves, as well as the presence of the chisel marks, make this theory difficult to accept. The lack of any historical records is perhaps the most significant challenge to understanding the Longyou Caves. It's hard to believe that such a massive undertaking could have been completely ignored by the historians and chroniclers of the time. This has led some to speculate that the caves were built during a period of political instability or social upheaval, when records were not being carefully maintained. Others suggest that they were deliberately kept secret, perhaps for strategic or religious reasons. The Longyou Caves represent a profound challenge to our understanding of history. They force us to question our assumptions about the capabilities of ancient civilizations and the limits of human ingenuity. They remind us that there are still mysteries hidden beneath our feet, waiting to be uncovered. They are a testament to the power of human ambition and the enduring allure of the unknown. And what about the local perspective? The villagers who lived above these hidden wonders for generations, unaware of the secrets beneath their feet. What stories did they tell? What legends did they pass down? Do their oral traditions hold any clues to the origins of the Longyou Caves? This is another avenue of research that deserves further exploration. The memories and beliefs of the local people may hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of this underground world. Perhaps a forgotten tale, a whispered legend, holds the truth that historians and archaeologists have been searching for. The answers may be closer than we think, buried not in the stone but in the collective memory of a people. The Longyou Caves are not just a historical puzzle, they are a battleground for competing ideas, a stage where theories clash and hypotheses are tested. The absence of a definitive answer has only fueled the debate, turning the caves into a Rorschach test for our understanding of ancient civilizations. Each expert, each researcher sees something different in the echoing chambers, a reflection of their own disciplinary biases and intellectual frameworks. One of the most persistent and widely debated theories centers around the idea that the caves were constructed by a pre-dynastic civilization, a sophisticated society that existed before the Shah dynasty, traditionally considered the first dynasty in Chinese history. Proponents of this theory argue that the scale and complexity of the caves, as well as the lack of any historical records mentioning them, point to a period before the established historical narrative. This pre-dynastic civilization, they suggest, possessed advanced engineering skills and a highly organized social structure. They were capable of mobilizing large numbers of workers, coordinating complex construction projects, and maintaining a consistent artistic style over a long period of time. They may have even had a written language, which has since been lost or destroyed. However, critics of this theory argue that there is no independent evidence to support the existence of such a pre-dynastic civilization. The archaeological record for this period is sparse and fragmented, and there is no consensus among scholars about the nature of the societies that existed before the Shah dynasty. They also point out that the technology required to construct the Longyou Caves, while impressive, was not beyond the capabilities of later dynasties. Another prominent theory attributes the construction of the Longyou Caves to a specific dynasty, most often the Qin dynasty, known for its ambitious public works projects, including the Great Wall and the Terracotta Army. The Qin dynasty, under the rule of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, was a period of great political and social upheaval, as well as significant technological innovation. Proponents of the Qin dynasty theory argue that the caves could have been built as a secret project, commissioned by the emperor for military or religious purposes. Perhaps they were intended as a hidden refuge for the emperor and his court in times of war or rebellion. Or perhaps they were designed as a sacred space for conducting secret rituals or communicating with the gods. The secrecy surrounding the project, they suggest, could explain the lack of any historical records mentioning the caves. The emperor may have ordered the project to be kept strictly confidential, fearing that its existence could be used against him by his enemies. The workers involved in the construction may have been sworn to secrecy or even executed after the project was completed. However, critics of the Qin dynasty theory point out that there is no direct evidence to link the caves to the Qin dynasty. No Qin dynasty artifacts have been found inside the caves, and no historical records mention any such project being undertaken during that period. They also argue that the scale and complexity of the caves would have been difficult to conceal, even from the emperor's closest advisors. A third theory proposes that the Longyou Caves were built over a much longer period of time, perhaps spanning several dynasties. This theory suggests that different sections of the caves may have been constructed at different times by different groups of people for different purposes. Perhaps the earliest sections of the caves were built as mines or quarries for extracting stone or minerals. Later, these sections may have been expanded and repurposed as storage facilities or defensive structures. Finally, the caves may have been decorated and embellished with the parallel lines and other artistic features. This multi-stage construction theory could explain the inconsistencies in the design and layout of the caves, as well as the lack of any single, unified purpose. It could also account for the absence of historical records, as the caves may have been built gradually, over a long period of time, without attracting the attention of historians or chroniclers. Critics of this theory, however, argue that the consistent style of the chisel marks and the overall uniformity of the caves suggest that they were built according to a single, coordinated plan. They also point out that the lack of any clear evidence of multiple construction phases makes this theory difficult to prove. Beyond these dominant theories, a host of more speculative and unconventional hypotheses have been put forward. Some have suggested that the caves were built by extraterrestrial beings who used advanced technology to carve them out of the rock. Others believe that they were built by a lost civilization, predating even the earliest known human societies. Still others propose that they are a natural geological formation, misinterpreted as a man-made structure. These more outlandish theories are generally dismissed by mainstream researchers due to the lack of any credible evidence to support them. However, they serve as a reminder of the enduring power of mystery and the human desire to find explanations for the unexplained. The debate surrounding the Longyou Caves also extends to the question of the technology used to construct them. How were the caves carved out of the solid rock? What tools were used? How were the workers able to illuminate the underground worksite? Some researchers believe that the caves were built using simple hand tools, such as chisels, hammers, and wedges. They argue that the precision and consistency of the chisel marks demonstrate the skill and expertise of the ancient craftsmen. They also point out that similar techniques were used to construct other ancient monuments, such as the pyramids and the Great Wall. However, other researchers believe that more advanced technology must have been used. They suggest that the caves could have been carved out using some form of powered machinery, perhaps driven by water or wind. They also point to the sheer scale and complexity of the project as evidence of advanced engineering capabilities. The lack of any tools or machinery found inside the caves remains a major obstacle to understanding the construction process. Some speculate that the tools were removed after the project was completed, or that they were made of perishable materials that have since decayed. Others suggest that the tools were deliberately concealed, perhaps to protect the secrets of the builders. The lighting of the underground worksite is another significant challenge. How were the workers able to see well enough to carve the caves with such precision? Some believe that they used torches or lamps fueled by oil or animal fat. Others suggest that they used mirrors or lenses to reflect sunlight into the caves. Still others propose that they used some form of bioluminescence, perhaps by cultivating glowing bacteria or fungi. The debate surrounding the Longyou Caves is not just an academic exercise. It has implications for our understanding of human history and the capabilities of ancient civilizations. If the caves were indeed built by a pre-dynastic civilization, it would rewrite our understanding of the origins of Chinese civilization. If they were built by the Qin dynasty as a secret project, it would reveal new insights into the political and social dynamics of that period. Regardless of their origins, the Longyou Caves stand as a testament to the ingenuity and ambition of the human spirit. They are a reminder that there are still mysteries waiting to be uncovered, and that the past is always more complex and surprising than we imagine. They challenge us to question our assumptions, to think critically, and to embrace the unknown. The Longyou Caves are more than just a collection of underground chambers. They are a window into the past, a portal to a world that is both familiar and alien. They are a source of endless fascination and debate, a puzzle that may never be fully solved. And that, perhaps, is part of their enduring appeal. The mystery is what keeps us searching, what keeps us exploring, what keeps us striving to understand the secrets of the ancient world. The Longyou Caves, a breathtaking testament to human endeavor, remain stubbornly silent. No definitive answer emerges from the meticulously carved stone. No inscription reveals the builder's intent. We are left to grapple with the sheer scale of the project, the precision of the execution, and the haunting emptiness of the chambers. Were they the product of a forgotten, pre-dynastic civilization, pushing back the boundaries of our understanding of early Chinese history? Were they a secret project of a powerful emperor, concealed from the annals of time, for reasons we can only speculate upon? Or were they the result of centuries of labor, a multi-generational undertaking that slowly transformed the Earth into a subterranean marvel? The lack of answers is frustrating, but it's also what makes the Longyou Caves so compelling. They force us to confront the limits of our knowledge, to acknowledge the gaps in our historical record, and to appreciate the enduring power of mystery. They remind us that the past is not a fixed and immutable thing, but a constantly evolving narrative, shaped by new discoveries and changing perspectives. The caves challenge us to think critically, to weigh the evidence, and to consider alternative explanations. They encourage us to embrace the unknown, to be open to new possibilities, and to never stop questioning. They are a reminder that there is still much to learn about the world around us, and that the greatest discoveries often lie hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be unearthed. The significance of the Longyou Caves extends far beyond their historical value. They are a symbol of human ingenuity, a testament to our ability to transform the natural world and to create enduring works of art and engineering. They are a reminder of our connection to the past, a link to the people who came before us and who shaped the world we inhabit today. They also serve as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the fragility of civilizations and the importance of preserving our cultural heritage. The Longyou Caves were almost lost to time, their existence forgotten for centuries. Only through the efforts of dedicated researchers and local communities have they been brought back to light, allowing us to marvel at their beauty and contemplate their mysteries. Ultimately, the Longyou Caves are a gift, a treasure trove of unanswered questions and endless possibilities. They invite us to explore, to discover, and to imagine. They challenge us to look beyond the surface, to delve into the depths of the earth, and to unlock the secrets of the ancient world. The mystery persists. The debate continues. The Longyou Caves endure. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.